You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Welcome to episode number 67 of the Battered Heat Fans Podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, Mr. Daniel Solana. After another effing loss, I am so done with this team. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I wish I could say I was doing better, but that game last night, man, that stung, man. Watching us blow that lead and lose felt like a recurring nightmare, man. I mean, I'm so sick of being stuck in playing purgatory again, and it's frustrating because sometimes we see some flashes of brilliance among some of the players, but we can't seem to finalize games. I don't know, man. I'm so tired of that 7, 8 seed, 9 seed. I'm so tired of it.
Well, and that's why we've had conversations throughout the season of just blow it up, right? Because sometimes it feels like, you just blow it up because I get it, right? Like the Heat don't like giving up on a season, but like when you watch the Sixers, for example, they ended up with oh my god, I forgot his first name, Edgecombe.
VJ Edgecombe.
VJ, thank you. Look, you get him in the lottery. All of a sudden, you pair him up with Maxey and Embiid when he's healthy, if he's ever healthy. Like you got a squad, like you got a future cornerstone. That he haven't had that since Dwayne Wade. They got it in Bam technically, right? But he's not the guy. We've come to realize that he's the second guy. You got another good player in Tyler Hero, but you need a top pick to end up with that guy. You need a top pick to end up with Dwayne Wade. And it's just frustrating. And you know what the most frustrating part is of the last two games? Is that the third quarter wasn't what gave us what did us in. They did
but Dan, the crazy thing is the Heat are 1-23 this season when trailing after three quarters. Think about that. Think about it. It's not just a bad bounce or a tough night that we're talking about, or a third quarter or anything. That's an identity crisis. I mean, we used to be the team that nobody wanted to see in the fourth quarter. We were, quote unquote, the zombie Heat, right? You could never kill us. We just keep coming back. And now, if we're not leading by the time that third quarter ends, might as well just head for the tunnel.
And the clutch games, we've played 26 clutch games, I believe it was. I was looking it up earlier. We've played
we probably lost them all.
26. No, it's 26, okay? Now, clutch means that you're playing in the last 5 minutes, you're within 5 points of each other. In those 26 games, they're 13-13. Actually, not even that bad. Actually, I thought it was worse. It was 13-13, which puts them in 15th place, which is literally in the middle of the pack in the NBA. But unfortunately, you don't have that closer. Look, Bam Adebayo had a good game yesterday. He didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. Like, you don't have a closer. And yeah, Tyler Hero technically could hopefully be that, but he's been injured most of the year. So, you really haven't been able to count on him. Norman Powell, he's fighting through an injury. Might as well just rest at this point because, he's not playing to his standards. And maybe it's because of his injury. I don't know. It just feels like everything that can go wrong is going wrong right now. And then we had been talking about that 10-game run, and I thought we had a chance. Like, hey, we have a real chance to just kind of get rolling. And no, now you got the loss to Milwaukee, which you should have won. The loss to Philadelphia, you battled back after like fighting all game long. You finally take that lead in the fourth quarter. And then once you take that lead, 117-116, you don't score again for the last I don't know how many minutes. And it just pisses me off, honestly. I don't even know what else to say. Go ahead, Solana.
Look, man, I wish I could give you some sort of plan or some X's and O's breakdown that would fix this. But at this point, dude, I'm out of answers. Really, when you see a stat like 1-23 after trailing after three, it's not really something that you fix with a simple rotation tweak or some new plays. I mean, it's become a mental block. And at the end of the day, look, man, you got to look at the names in that locker room. You got to look at Spo. You got to look at Bam. You got to look at everybody. And you just have to trust that these guys are eventually going to make it work. I mean, they've been in these types of trenches before, and they found ways out of darker holes in this. But look, is it frustrating? Dude, beyond belief. And does it make sense right now? What I'm saying? Probably not. But if you don't trust the culture now when it's actually being tested, then it never meant anything anyway. So we just have to believe that they're going to figure it out before the clock runs out on the season.
The thing is, I feel like we've been trusting that culture for the last few years. And then at one point, we started blaming Jimmy for it. Jimmy's not around anymore. We picked up Norman Powell. He became an all-star. We felt like, okay, especially the way the season started. Dude, we had an episode right before Thanksgiving where we were asking, are the Heat the best team in the East? And things have gone to crap after that. Like, I don't know. It's just been disappointing. I really don't. This shouldn't even be a long show because we don't. We got Houston next, which is a squad. Like, that's a real team. So, we've been really optimistic about this 10-game run, and we said, okay, the Rocket game is probably the game that you lose. Well, here it comes. Maybe they can surprise us, but if not, you're right there again. One game over 500, and then you have the Nets 2 games in a row, which you'll beat up because they beat the bad teams, the really bad teams at least. And then they'll just continue to stay right over 500, which keeps you right in the play-in, which keeps you right where the Heat have been over the last 5 years, which is just frustrating. Final words, Solana.
Dude, I'm just ready to see some fight. We can talk about stats and rotations all day, but at a certain point, it just comes down to pride. And I'm choosing to believe that Spo and the guys are going to find that spark before it's too late. But, man, to everyone listening, keep the faith and or at least keep the frustrations loud. One of the two.
All right. Well, if you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please leave 5 stars in a comment. If you watch on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll be back on Sunday to talk about the Houston Rockets. So until the next one, have a good one.